Okay, so we are going to do a quick lesson on writing polynomial functions with certain zeros. So basically, we are going to work backwards from finding zeros. So to do this, I want to talk about a few things that will make this easy on you guys, okay? First off, this tells you how many zeros you have. So we have 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're good. We don't have to think of anything extra. So I want you to think about what zeros look like. So if you remember from the other lesson that we did, we talked about zeros look like this. So what I want to do is make all my zeros look like that. So I am going to write x equals 4, x equals negative 3, x equals 3, x equals 0. Okay, now these are our answers. These are our solutions. These are the zeros that we have. But I want you to think about making all of those equal 0, because if I make them equal 0, that means I have turned them into factors. So if I make x equals 4 equal to 0, that means I have to subtract 4 to each side. On the next one, I would have to add 3 to each side, subtract 3 to each side, and then that one already says x equals 0, so we are done. Okay, so now I have changed all of these into factors. Once I have factors, I can use my distributive property and multiply these out, and I get my polynomial. Okay, so the first two I want to multiply together are these two, because that is my difference of squares. So if I do x plus 3 times x minus 1, I will get x squared minus 3x plus 3x minus 9. And remember, the two middle terms cancel when you're doing a difference of squares. That's why I wanted to multiply those together. Then I would like to take my x minus 4 and my x and put them together. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So I just have to distribute, and I get x squared minus 4x. So now all I have to do is take my two answers and multiply them together. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to multiply it out over here so I have some more room. Okay, so x squared times x squared would be x to the 4th. X squared times negative 9 is negative 9x squared. Negative 4x times x squared is negative 4x cubed. And negative 4x times a negative 9 is a positive 36x. So right now we would combine like terms, but we actually don't have any. So I'm just going to put it in descending order. So x to the 4th minus 4x cubed minus 9x squared, and then plus 36x. There we go. Okay. And notice it's x tells us that there's 4 zeros. Well, that also matches our degree of our polynomial right there, so we did good. Okay, so let's go to B. B is a little bit different. We have 2 zeros. Well, this actually means 2 zeros, plus or minus. So to help us out, I'm going to write it out. So that means we have 1 plus square root of 3, 1 minus square root of 3. So we have x equals here, and we have x equals here. Okay, now if I want to make these equal 0, we got to move all of it to the other side. So that means we would have to subtract the 1 and subtract the square root of 3. We would have to subtract the 1, add the square root of 3. Okay, now we can take our factors and multiply them together. So we're going to have x minus 1 minus square root of 3, x minus 1 plus square root of 3. Now, you are more than welcome to distribute and take 1 times all of that, that times all of that, and then the square root of 3 times all of that, or negative square root of 3. Okay, So instead of distributing the trinomial, what I want you guys to look at is we have an x minus 1 here. And then we have the square root of 3 here and the square root of 3 here. And then notice in between my highlighting, one's positive and one's negative. So we actually have a difference of squares here. So I would like to multiply it out using difference of squares because we know that the O and the I inside that will cancel. So I want to multiply these two together. So x minus 1 times x minus 1. So that would be x squared minus x plus 1. And then we have x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay. Then we have minus, and then we multiply these two together. Square root of 3 times square root of 3, which is just 3. So the only thing that you have to put together is the 1 minus 3. So we are going to have f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 2. So therefore, this will be your polynomial. 2 matches, so we know that we did good. Okay, let's look at this last one. So this last one says we should have 2 zeros, but we only have 1. That's because you should know that imaginaries come in pairs. So if I give you 2 plus 3i, you should know that the other one is 2 minus 3i. Squeeze in those x equals. Now we got to change them to factors. So that means this would be x minus 2 minus 3i. This would be equal 0. And this one would be x minus 2i plus 3i equals 0. So we're going to go put those in our parentheses. And hopefully you notice this is the same exact thing that happened on the other one. I have a 3i. I have x minus 2, and in between my two highlights, one's positive and one is negative. So therefore, that means we have a difference of squares again, so the O and the I will cancel, so we do not have to worry about doing our middle terms. So we're going to multiply these together, so x minus 2 times x minus 2. So it'd be x squared minus 2x plus 4. Add those middle terms together. There we go. Minus. Now we multiply 3i times 3i. So that's 9i squared. But I squared's a negative 1. So that changes to a negative 9. But two negatives make a positive. So we're going to have f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 13. 2 and 2. So we know that we did good. Okay? Hope the lesson wasn't too bad. Sorry for my kids screaming.